Hi everyone, it's Debbie from healingfrombpd.org. So this morning I woke up with a monster of a panic attack or anxiety attack or combination of both, and I hopped onto Facebook right away and reached out to see if making a video on how I got through it would be helpful for you guys. And also I checked in about what works for you guys in terms of what's effective when you're feeling panicky and anxious to get yourself back down to feeling well again. So in the article that I wrote on the blog post at healingfrombpd.org, which is where this video is now embedded. So if you're watching the video on YouTube, I'll put the link down below so you can get more context on the different reasons why we might be triggered into having panic or anxiety episodes, and the truth about the fact that we may not always be able to actually identify what the trigger is, and there's more information on that, as well as a book that I swear by has helped me for the past 20 years when it comes to feeling really anxious and so on. So link to that blog post down below. Also, you can tweet me with your suggestions, comments, and feedback on this video at @healingfrombpd. So, that all being said, this morning it was terrible. I felt kind of queasy. My heart was racing. I just was like, really, this is how the day is going to start? And I wasn't happy about that. Typically, as most of you know, I'm a very upbeat, positive, happy person, looking forward to starting the day, feeding my cats, getting out in the sun, all that good stuff. And this morning, it was just like, I didn't feel like doing any of those things. And I know from past experience that I have choices when I feel that way. And one of them is I can go with it and it will completely spiral into really, really feeling sick and really getting so worked up that I need to take my anti-anxiety medication, which is prescribed for that, but I don't like to really have to take it very frequently, right? And I don't experience this very frequently anymore. It used to be all the time. So I have compassion for those of you who have this as a frequent issue that comes up for you. For me, part of the difficulty is that it's, sudden and random, it seems like sometimes, but then usually I'm able to put the pieces together and figure out why I'm probably getting activated and my nervous system's getting activated to this point. So there are a few things that I did this morning to take care of myself. So I'm curious if you do any of these things or if there are things you might want to try. So the first thing I did was I noticed my experience. So I'm in the bed and I start to feel my heart racing and flutter, and I feel like, my stomach's going to be upset and all that good stuff and jazzy stuff. Not so good, right? And in the past, I would really get caught up in that and start freaking out over that. So now I'm freaking out over freaking out, and that just exponentially gets worse and worse, right? Or I can do what I did this morning, which is lie there and say, I don't like this, but I accept that for some reason my body's getting activated right now. My nervous system is activated. I'm just going to watch that my heart rate is going fast and it's going to go back to normal. I'm just going to notice that my stomach's a little bit upset and I'll deal with that. Yada yada, right? So the self-talk is a big piece for me, tapping into what is known in DBT as wise mind, getting into that rational, reasonable thought and talking to ourselves from that place, kind of in the same way that we would talk to a dear friend or a loved one who is going through something and feeling really afraid. We offer ourselves that. Most of you who have been following me for a while know, and if you haven't been following me for very long, you will soon know that I'm huge on compassion. And that is self-compassion to us and then compassion outwardly to others. And this perspective is one of the things that has allowed me to be empathetic and to love other people and to, experience life in a different way, is to afford not just compassion to other people, but also to myself. So I was saying, I was feeling for myself that I was going through this, right? And knowing and trying to act in tenderness and love toward myself, which may feel awkward and strange to you at first if that's not something you normally do, but it can be really helpful in conjunction with that self-talk. Okay, so the next thing I did was I went into the other room and I set up my yoga blankets and my little pillow, and I got my iPad out and I queued up one of my tracks, which is a self-hypnosis track to help get rid of, typical negative thoughts. And there are plenty of them out there. You can find them on YouTube. You can download them from different places. So that's one thing that I did. It helped significantly. Just to hear the gentle guided voice of the hypnotherapist and to be guided through something to keep my mind focused on had a huge impact, as did the portion of going through the body, sort of a body scan, and releasing tension in the body. It wasn't progressive muscle relaxation where you're tensing and letting go, but it was more, notice the muscles around your eyes are getting looser. Notice, not looser, like your eyes are gonna fall out, but so weird. But just noticing those getting more relaxed, noticing your neck muscles getting more relaxed, all of that really, really helped. So right after that, which was about 15 minutes, I noticed an improvement, but I also noticed that I still felt a bit activated. So at that point, I decided to put on another track, which is Catherine Reagan's Time for Healing, and I just did the guided imagery portion. You all know that I'm huge on this CD. I think this is from the 90s. I haven't found anything better in terms of guided meditations that work for me. If you're on healingfrombpd.org and you click on resources, you'll see tons of, books and DVDs and, all sorts of things for borderline personality disorder and dialectical behavior therapy. And then there's one section where it's guided imagery and such, and that CD is in there. I can't recommend anything higher than that for me personally, because you might get it and be like, really, Debbie? Because I don't like this one. You know how it's a personal thing. So if you have a go-to guided imagery track that you use, you love, you swear by, please put it down in the comments below so that I can grow that resource list and people can know about it. Okay, so after that, it happens to be Sunday today that I'm recording this and when all of this happened, right? After that, I felt a lot better. My nervous system was starting to calm down. I had effectively sent messages to my brain and to my nervous system that I was not in danger and that it could calm down, and it was beginning to really do so. I felt substantially better, but I still felt a little bit off. You know what I mean? Because it takes a toll on your body, and then you kind of feel weird for a while after you have an attack. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So what I decided to do was to head back to bed with my cats. And I decided to just, set up something on my iPad to wake me up in 15 minutes in case I dozed off. And actually, I kept hitting snooze about 3 times. So I ended up hanging out in bed, watching my thoughts, relaxing as much as possible for maybe 45 more minutes before I got up. And then I got up. And then I went to the next item. Okay, so the next thing I did was try to get in my routine again as much as possible. I have noticed that if I completely throw out my routine when I'm feeling anxious and panicky, it spirals and gets worse. So now that I had given myself that time to really self-soothe and to calm down and to take care, I got up, I had some breakfast, even though honestly I didn't really feel like it, because we all know how you feel after you've been anxious and panicky. You're not exactly like, at the top of the mountain looking for your next meal, or that was a weird analogy, but you know what I mean. So, but I still took the time. I had that. I took my medication. I do have chronic issues. I had to make sure I took what I needed to take for that as well. So I had to stay in the self-care routine, had to have a little bit something to eat in the morning, flossed my teeth, brushed my teeth, put a little stuff together for myself with my hair and my makeup, and that helped me to feel better. Put on some clothes, got out of my pajamas. You guys probably think I just have one outfit because I've been recording in this outfit. Do you guys have weekend outfits too that are like your go-to? You just feel so comfortable kicking it in a certain outfit, and this has been like mine for that, so it's probably why I've been wearing it so often in the videos lately. But anyway, so the self-care piece, that's really important, and getting back into the routine as soon as you're able to take it down enough to where you're not suffering quite as much from the intensity of those emotions of panic and anxiety. So the next thing I did was I got out of the house, and here's a little clip to prove it. What I did today was come to Target. Sometimes Target can be overstimulating for me, so if I'm feeling anxious, I'll avoid coming to places like this. But honestly, I really needed to get out of the house, be around other people, and get some errands done that I'd been putting off. So today, Target was a thumbs up, good idea.
Good idea.
I'm so silly. Yeah, so I did that, and I did go to a couple of other places where I needed to run errands. I needed to return something. I got a few groceries, that sort of thing. Being around people, interacting, getting outside of myself and outside of my head where everything seemed really intense and ridiculous, and observing life around me carrying on really helped to ground me. If I had stayed in and stayed home by myself and isolated and just looked at the four walls and stayed on the computer all day, it would have gone in that spiral. I knew I had to get out for a little while and be around other people.